Is Alexander Volkanovski unbeatable? Alexander the Great is just that. I break it down to 3 C's of why I think Alexander Volkanovski is the most unbeatable, not just unbeatable champion, but the most unbeatable guy in the entire world. There's a reason why he's the pound for pound number 1. I break it down to 3 C's: completeness, cardio, and composure. He is the most complete fighter that we have on the roster in the UFC, the most complete fighter in the entire world. The ability to be at home and be 2 to 3 to 4 steps ahead of his opponents in every single position in a fight. On the feet, navigating and negotiating the distance, navigating and negotiating the striking, his plethora of strikes that he has, very basic. He doesn't try to get crazy out of his comfort zone, even with how dominant he has been over the last however many title defenses he has had now. He doesn't try to get out of what makes him him. Hard punches, basic striking, both with his hands and with his feet, even throws in elbows and knees when he so chooses. Up against the cage, the grappling exchanges up against the cage, offense and defense. There's not a featherweight alive that he can't take down. And as we saw, there might not be a lightweight in the world that he can't take down, since he took down Islam Makhachev in their fight, which was a very closely contested fight. I know he wants that fight, and in my honest opinion, he might be the guy who might get that title shot. Obviously, after this fight, he talked about needing surgery, so we'll see what happens there. But he is just so complete, and he's so clean in every single exchange. There's never a moment when you're watching Alexander Volkanovski where you think he probably should have made a different decision there. His track record of looking so in control of his fights, and these are the fights at the highest level. This is the most amount of pressure that anybody can feel, defending your belt. And here's one thing that we see a lot of times with champions. They fight not to lose instead of fighting to win. Has there ever been a moment in Alexander Volkanovski's title reign where you haven't seen him out there to win a fight? Has there ever been a moment where you thought, Alex played it safe there? Even in this last fight against Yair Rodriguez at UFC 290, as you see, he got his hand raised once again. Even when he took down Yair, it wasn't because he was afraid to stand with Yair. It wasn't because Yair was getting the better of him with his crazy, unorthodox length with his kicks. He did a couple spinning kicks, couple jump kicks, couple crazy flashy things. Alex didn't take him down and beat him up on the ground because he was scared of Yair Rodriguez. He was staying within himself, staying within his Volkanovski, the Great lane, and he takes him down when he wants to. He beats him up on the feet when he wants to. So as a fighter, he is, in my opinion, the most complete fighter on the roster. Second thing, his cardio. Now, if he was undersized, if he was lean, if he didn't have big muscle mass, if he didn't have a lot of strength, but he was able to use his cardio, it'd be a different story. But I'm talking about cardio in the sense that this man played rugby, was over 200-something pounds at one point, which he carries that power down to 145 and still has the speed coupled with the stamina with these long combinations that he can throw. The man's cardio is through the roof. For 145 pounds, to be able to keep up with these guys at 145 pounds, going from 210 or whatever he used to be when he was playing rugby, losing a little bit of that mass, obviously a lot of fat, but keeping that muscle mass and being able to charge forward, keep a high pace with the muscle mass that he has, which also means strength, which also means power, but to do it in the sense that he can do it with the amount of cardio that he has, the high pace that he can keep. He can always keep his foot on the gas, and he never looks like he's not in control of a fight. He's a complete fighter. He's got phenomenal cardio. And the third thing I would say is the man has composure for days. You want to talk about championship mentality? Alexander Volkanovski, I believe, has the best example of a championship mentality that I've ever seen in my entire life. His composure in there, as I've already said, he never looks like he's not in control. Yeah, he's been hit before. Yeah, he almost got, or it looked like he almost got submitted by Brian Ortega. Yeah, he got hit by a couple crazy attacks by Yair Rodriguez. Yeah, we've seen him a couple times in fight. He hasn't won every single second of every single fight, of course, but I believe I was actually this past weekend at UFC 290, was sitting in the back. Daniel Cormier was there, Laura Sanko, Brendan Fitzgerald. We were kind of having a conversation. Don't quote me on this, but I believe Alexander Volkanovski has only lost 4 rounds in his entire career. And I can't confirm that because I didn't look it up before this video, but it seems like that. The man is always in control. He's so complete. He's got phenomenal cardio for his size, his power, his speed, his quickness, his athleticism, and his composure. There's never a moment that he doesn't look like he's in 100% complete control. And as a guy who I admittedly have been in fights before where I look like I got a deer in the headlights, it's not easy to be under those bright lights with millions of people watching around the world with the pressure of defending a title he's never once, in my opinion, looked like he went out there to try just to not lose instead of trying to win. This right here is the goal. You want to get your hand raised, especially in a title fight, but he never goes out there just to get his hand raised. He never takes his foot off the gas. He's always trying to finish the fight, as he did this past weekend at UFC 290. It was an absolute pleasure to watch. I got the the fortunate / interesting spectacle of sitting right behind Israel Adesanya. Had a camera on him, a microphone on him the whole time, because obviously the next fight was Duplessis versus Whitaker, and they were building that, and obviously you saw how that went. So I got to watch Izzy behind while he was watching Dan Hooker fight, Izzy while he was watching Volkanovski fight, 2 of his dear friends, 2 of his teammates, and the dude was going bananas the entire night. So that was a lot of fun. But UFC 290 was absolutely amazing, and it capped off with, as I've said, in my opinion, the most complete fighter on the entire planet, the most unbeatable fighter in the entire planet. Nobody's unbeatable, let's be honest. But if you had to pick right now, hey, give me an answer right now in 5 seconds. To me, Alexander the Great Volkanovski is the most unbeatable fighter on the planet right now. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Great job, Volk. Great win. And UFC 290 was an absolute blast. And you capped off the show with a phenomenal exclamation mark, my friend. Hats off to you.